If I were to go back, I would have not waited 4 years. If you want to grow, it's surprisingly easy. You got to stop thinking about yourself. You really got to start thinking about
Hey! Justin is a camera nerd and full-time dad.
I started making videos for YouTube because of the lockdown.
In 1 month, he 100x'd his following.
The plan was to give myself 10 years.
And was finally able to turn his passion into a business.
And I've been able to collaborate with numerous brands.
He was the first creator I met face to face.
For me, you were the first one.
And that real-life connection is what fueled the launch of Orbit. I know you have some kind of background in architecture. How does that make any sense, and how are you a creator now?
Being an architect, you're literally a creator, right? Like you're always coming up with an idea and then like putting it into drawing and then building the thing in real life. So like the creation process is like in my blood for sure.
Right.
Yeah, so when it came to videos, YouTube was something I've always wanted to do for like probably before I made my first video. It took me 4 years, and then I kept like practicing or like trying to imagine like filming yourself so in different places. And I have so many of those videos. And then one day I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do an unboxing video. Set up a camera. I don't know. I don't care. Like I'm just gonna get it out of my system. That's how it started.
We are gonna do an unboxing of the Fly More combo kit.
And that video, as ugly as it was, hit like 10,000 views. And I'm like, what the hell? This is not the video I hope people would see, but that's how it started. I'm like, okay, now we need to make the next one. Thing was, after I made that one, it took like maybe 6 months for the next one to come out, which was a travel video.
So when you started this, did you have like a plan, or you just made it for fun?
I went in with a 10-year plan. Like to me, it was just like 10 years. We'll see what happens. Then maybe reassess if it's like the right thing for me. Because at the time I was still practicing, right? So in order for me to do something else that takes away time from my main business, it has to, at least in my mind, it has to bring in something. That was the plan. Otherwise, I have no right leaving this other thing.
Did you ever think about making videos about architecture, or was it never? You were always like into the filmmaking scene.
I thought of it because I actually, like, one of the things I first started doing after I made those YouTube videos was to bring my drone to construction sites, fly it there. Yeah. But I realized that I wanted something that was out of architecture because I do it all the time, like 24/7. It's already like the main thing. So I deliberately wanted the YouTube channel to be about something else. And originally it was just really like travel films, like because we travel a lot. So to me, it was like a reason to document stuff and like make a nice piece put together so that we have something to look back to. That's still what I really want to do, like family memories, I think. And then yeah, naturally I gravitated towards like gear reviews because I wanted to be sent like gear, right? Like I didn't want to be spending money all the time for gear. So, and that was what I had already with me, and it was like the easiest thing to make. It's already there. I can put it on the table, talk about it, show you what I could do with it, you know.
And now you are in a position where a bunch of brands just message you like, hey, can you review our stuff? This is like the dream to, I think, a bunch of people, right? Like, I don't need to get paid, I just get free stuff. How does that feel to you?
It's still pretty cool. Like the hard thing to deal with is if you really like a product and like a company says they only have, they don't really have a budget and they can only do the X deal. So that's the tricky thing. And most of the time, if it's something that I've really wanted for a long time or I really think it's something I could put to use, then I say yes. Specifically, it was a motorized slider because I was like, I'm a solo filmmaker. I need as much automated help as I can get, like an automated slider, super useful. So I said yes to that. But yeah, still pretty awesome. Again, that's the whole message there. It's such an awesome feeling.
Definitely. And the fun thing is like lights and tripods and stands, like all the things that are maybe less sexy are the things that are gonna outlast any camera you own, right?
And are super important. But those are like the things I don't really want to be spending money on. Like I really feel like I could buy something else.
Making content, making videos is only, I think it's a really big part of your life, probably, having seen your space and knowing you. But there's a whole nother, like, really big part to your life with your family.
That's even bigger.
How do you think about those two things? Is there a balance?
Family comes first. That's not a question. Like if it's like I'm not gonna be able to make content this weekend because we're going on a trip, or like I need to be with Kara or something like that. So it's really not a balance. There's an imbalance. If it's family, it's like it comes first.
Yeah, you were telling me earlier how your life used to be really structured. Remember that? Can you talk about that again?
Yeah, so prior to having Kara, prior to being with Kat, like my days are so structured to the minute. Attending meetings, I had time for that. I had time when I was gonna draw. I had time when I was gonna. Everything was so scheduled. Then I had Kara, and everything just went out the window. And if I found that if I make a schedule and I try to stick with it, and I don't get to stick with it because of so many unforeseen things, I get so much stressed about it. So then I reverse engineered it. And if Kara needs me, that's the job. And then if she doesn't, and I have that pocket of time, then that's the time I can make one. So I just learned to not get stressed about not having a schedule, because not having the schedule is the schedule.
So what does an average day look like for you?
Let's just say I start my day by waking up Kat and Kara at like 7 a.m. I try to have breakfast with them because they don't like having breakfast. So I try to wake them up, leave at like 8:20 the latest, 8:20 a.m. the latest. Okay. Go to the kinder, arrive there at like 9. Go back here. So from 10 to 2, I work on something creative, something heavy, because Kara is not here. I can focus. So it's either editing or filming something where I can like move stuff. And then 2 p.m., I pick her up again, get back here like maybe 3:30-ish, I think. 3:30. By that time, Kat is still working. So I'll give Kara a bath, feed her, play with her a little bit until like maybe 6 p.m. And then it's Kat's turn, essentially, to take care of Kara. And then I work until I can't at night, essentially. If I'm too tired, I sleep like at midnight and then wake up at like 4 or 5 and then just get it over with. Or like if I sleep at 3, obviously I'm not going to wake up at 5, so I wake up at 7. So it depends on like the energy of the day. So that's like how I operate.
Do you take naps throughout the day?
No. It's just how I've operated. Again, it's not the model structure of like work-life balance, but that to me is work-life balance, because I'm able to work on the things I really like, still take care of my family, and now like still somehow find a way to make money off of it. And that to me is like a balance, right? That's one thing I learned. It's not about like, 8 hours for working, 8 hours for resting, 8 hours for this, and it's a balanced thing. To me, it's like being able to do all the things I want to do within a day, and that's how it is. Like I'm not neglecting this area, and I'm still able to do this. So that to me is the balance. But it's not healthy. This one isn't healthy at all. But to me, it is balanced.
So given everything you just told me about your work-life balance, how do you actually recharge? Like, how do you get energy back?
Honestly, by having time to myself and learning something new and studying. That's where I find that I'm most relaxed. Like I'm allowed to explore something without consequences.
Okay.
I think that's where I feel like, oh, okay, now I'm ready to do something else, because vacations are nice, right? But during vacations, I'm like always filming. So it feels like work, but I am having fun, right? But it's like, but when I'm in the dead of night, like learning something new, all that stuff, it feels like, because I can waste, quote unquote, waste time. That's what wasting time is for me. Not working on something that I need to produce, but it's like working on something new, right? Like learning something new. That to me is wasting time.
I think that's more productive than most people waste time. Is there anything you're learning right now that you're...
Yeah, so I'm trying to learn DaVinci and figuring out if I can completely make content off of an iPad, like with the stuff I need. because I think that's like gonna be so nice to travel with a small bag. Like I only have an iPad, edits because editing photos on it already is like super nice. And I know people who do that. Like I have friends who are like not full-time creators, but like paid creators who completely work off of the iPad. Like they get paid for stuff they make on the iPad.
So you're always challenging yourself, always trying to do something new.
Yeah.
I think that's that's what keeps me going more than anything. It's like, oh, there's something new, right? So you got to find ways to excite yourself, and it might look different for other people. Some people like doing the same thing over and over again. I have friends who are very successful in that regard, and it's like that's how they like it, right? But that to me, like after doing the 30-day challenge, I was like, I'm so sick of seeing my face in the same background doing the same stuff. Like I'm so tired of seeing it, honestly. So you would think I should be scared to change it because it's working so well.
Never change a running system.
Yeah, exactly. But it's always go back to Matt's quote. When you have 0 subscribers, make as if you had 1 million subscribers. And when you have 1 million, like make as if you had 0 subscribers. And that to me was like, oh, that's the main reason I'm not scared to like continuously try new things and experiment, because I'm not really doing it for like the following in the first place. Like to me, this is a 10-year plan. I need to last that long. So it's like figuring out how to do that to me is like always changing something up.
That is actually one of my favorite quotes.
Exactly. Me too.
That kind of connects to something else. Like a big general topic for all creators is consistency. How do you feel about consistency?
I was consistent on that during that period, but that was an anomaly. Like it was really a conscious decision for a certain amount of time. But I knew I wasn't going to be able to keep that up.
Yeah, you had a start time and end date.
Yeah, right. That 30-day thing like took so much from me. Like I probably took 1.5 months recovery after that. Like just like taking my time, enjoying things, like learning new things. Because I wouldn't have been able to sustain that. And I know someone who's been doing it for like more than 6 months, posting content every day. It's like, I'm really amazed by that. I'm pretty sure I would burn out if I did that. It comes down to what's the most optimal amount of days I can show up given all my other responsibilities. So that for me is consistency. But yeah, I actually don't consider myself to be consistent enough.
Is there like one lesson that you took away from that experiment?
Yeah. Like figuring out what your goal is. If your goal is to grow and you want people to listen to you, then you got to stop thinking about yourself and you really got to start thinking about others and how you can help them, because everyone on the internet is looking for something for themselves. They're not looking to support someone else. They're not looking to, they're looking to gain something for themselves. So if you put them first, it makes it easier for them to care about you. Instead of you going like, here's my art and I put so much work into this and this is so pretty, you look at it, right? Like you might get some eyes, but it's like people won't really, after that, it's like they don't get anything. So if you think about making stuff for other people, then they'll be like, wait a minute, this is something I can use, right? Then you put on like, it gets a lot easier. Like it's surprisingly easy. As long as like you think about other people instead of your own art. Stop
thinking about yourself, think about other people. I think that's such a nice way to put it.
Yeah, if you really want to grow, it's about other people.
If you want to dive deeper into what inspires creators, I got just a thing for you. The Orbit newsletter. It's a weekly collection of good content, useful tools, and fun stuff to click on to fuel your creative journey. It's a way to discover creators who went from 0 to 100 in a single step, distills creator economy news when it's actually relevant, and highlights the whole Orbit community. It really is the first newsletter of its kind focusing on the creator economy in Europe while still giving you global insights. And the best thing is that you can become a part of it too, because Orbit is a community effort built to connecting people. Just send in content that inspires you or that helped you grow. Or you can share it on our subreddit where other creators can upload the most inspiring posts. That way we can really build the most insightful newsletter the creator economy has seen to date. And maybe one day we can share your story from being somebody with a dream to becoming the person leaping ahead by just taking one single step. So whether you're an aspiring content creator, a seasoned professional, or somewhere in between, the Orbit newsletter is your weekly dose of inspiration, giving you a fresh perspective. To sign up, simply check the link down below. I am so excited for you to become part of this community. And now let's get on with the show, because I'll see you in your inbox. Maker, but then when you talk about your channels, you always like talk about we, like who.
So number one, I think it comes down to how I have always operated as an architecture business. When I started it, I always used the term we or us, because in my head, like, it's going to be a bigger firm one day. And then eventually I did get to hire like some junior architects. So I had people working for me. And so, like, again, it's just a mindset that I'm not alone. Like, I'm not doing this myself. So when it came to content creation, like, the number one person would probably be Kat, who's like, I treat her as like the CEO of this enterprise. She's the executive producer. Like, sometimes I would even put that in the video. Like, if I use a title screen, like, she would be there, like, executive produced by by Kat. I think, again, it also comes back to my training as like a basketball player, like a team player. You're always talking about we, not I, those things. So I think it's just deeply ingrained with me. Like, if I'm doing something, I know it's not just me.
I think that's such a refreshing thought. I feel like a lot of people go in there with this like singular mindset, like, I am the creator, this is my channel. And so, like, I don't know, hearing your background of architecture and basketball, like thinking of it as a team, even though if it's not fully formed yet. Yeah. I really like that.
I never even realized I use we so much. Like, on my us, especially when I talk to brands, it's like, thank you for reaching out to us. We appreciate it. That's how I start my emails or I respond to emails. So yeah, it's just like so ingrained to me.
Is this something you're working towards, like having like a proper team or something?
Yeah,
or
maybe a small one, primarily because I know how hard it can be working with a bigger team, right? Like, putting up my own architecture business taught me a lot about myself, a lot about handling other people, and like about the degree of control I like to have. So I know I kind of have an idea that of like the optimal size I would probably need, maybe 1-2 editors. I still want to be involved. That's the thing. So I think as a creator, like, my hands get itchy, right? Like, I need to be creating something. So yeah, maybe 1-2 editors. That's it.
If I would give you a magic wand, you can make any project that you want. It doesn't, like, there's no audience attached to it, no money, like, just carte blanche. You can do whatever you want. Do you have a project in mind for that?
I would want to make more. I would want to have more time to edit our travel videos. Like, I have so much backlog. It's funny. Like, I have a 2019 beach trip that we took right before we left for Vienna. And I haven't even gotten to that. That's like 2019. That's 2023 now, right? So I have so many things of that. And I still think about it. And I still want to do those things again, because I started the YouTube channel to create videos that we can look back on. And it's so nice, the ones I was able to produce already, to create, to publish, because Kara has memories of that. Like, she remembers, like, when we took the trip to Amsterdam, for example, or when we took the trip to the beach. Like, she has those memories to look back to, like, which I didn't have, which Kat doesn't have. So, like, I still think about that. Like, I really, really want to do that.
That's interesting. I'm not a parent myself, right? I don't know what this feels like. But I know there's this balance that some people try to find, like, they don't want their kid online, they do want their kid online, right? Yeah. Obviously, Kara is a character in your videos. Do you ever think about that?
Yeah. So, actually, Kara doesn't appear on the Instagram stuff. I only do the close friends now. Like, I learned how to use the close friends feature because of that. Like, because of course I still want to like post stories about her, but YouTube, I do that because not everyone's like gonna be interested in like a family trip we took to Amsterdam, right? Like, I don't expect those videos to blow up or anything.
Well, at the very least, you can make an epic video montage for her 18th birthday.
Exactly, or like when she's getting married or something, right? That's why I keep recording, even though I'm not even publishing these things. It's just there. But I know, like, one day when I'm a bit more free, these are just gonna come out as if it was just like, we took that trip. But hopefully that changes this year. Like I really, really want to do something with videos, with all of those videos.
If you could go back, right? Start a new channel or basically start over again. Is there something that you would really double down on that you would like, that you think you missed out on maybe like starting out?
If I were to go back, I would have not waited 4 years to make the first video. Because right now I feel like I'm coming into year 4, right? Like the amount of growth I've had, not in terms of followers or like subscribers or anything, right? But the amount of growth I had as a creator in terms of like the knowledge I know now have, like the way, the experiences, the way I look at things, and the way I edit stuff, and everything, and essentially everything. If I started 4 years ago, 4 years earlier than when I actually did, then it was like essentially I've covered what I'm covering right now, right? Like who knows where I could be now, like 4 years after. So probably just starting early. Because the funny thing was I waited 4 years because I wanted the first video to be amazing, right? You want the first video to be good. You're not going to be like one of those people who make an ugly video for the first time. Like you want to be good. You want to be different. And so I waited 4 years, and then the first video was like not good. So it's like, why the hell did I wait 4 years for that? So yeah, probably just starting early. But in terms of like covering like the content I make, probably would still do the same thing.
Justin, this was so nice.
Yeah, same here. Like except for the heat. But
yeah, sorry for doing this on like in the hottest week of the year.
Yeah, but I'm excited to see what happens and like what the video will look like.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with a fellow creative to support their journey. We're all about highlighting and connecting creators in Europe and beyond. And if you want a chance to shine on one of the future episodes, check out the survey link down below. I'm always excited to meet new creators.